good morning, and thank you again to the NIAA to actually have a producer come up here and sit. It's fun to get to interact with everybody here, get to rub shoulders with MDs and veterinarians, different doctors of all sorts. So whenever they ask for a producer to come sit up here, I always sit and think, well, what in the world am I going to tell people? You know, I did wash my boots before I got on the plane kind of thing. My story is unique in agriculture. So I am not a multi-generational rancher or farmer. My father grew up on a tobacco farm, but swore that he would never farm again when he moved from Tennessee. So he moved to New Mexico, and I'm the youngest of 5 children, and I spent my time in a sandbox behind their barn. And in that sandbox, I would watch the neighbors as they would bring in pasture cattle in the winter. I would watch as the corn choppers came in during the end of the summer. And it was a tie that started to bring me back into agriculture, or brought me into agriculture. The unique thing about that, and the reason I tell you a little bit about my background, is because I get to look at agriculture on 2 sides. I've got a sister that swore that if you didn't buy it from Trader Joe's and it wasn't organic, then you don't eat it. And I've got a brother that would make sure that he tried to spit in your eye after you cut your arm. So you have 2 different sides in my family. And the way that I've got to grow our operation, we've gone from 10 acres to a little over 1,000. We're over 150 head of cattle now. We keep growing. The unique perspective we see is, or at least I get to see, is no matter what I do and how I do it, I want to make sure that I leave a spot that I started better than when I started. And when it comes to our cattle are family. And it's funny because people are like, how can you call something that you're going to eat family? Well, it's important to me as a producer that no matter what I do and how I do it, I take care of it to the best of my ability. And so to all the veterinarians in the room, I have to say thank you. Because it's people like you that I have to rely on. When I have an animal that's sick, when I have an animal that's hurt, if I don't know what to do, I need guidance. And to have people that actually sit around in this same room and are able to sit and talk about the hard issues about what do we do, how do we deal with regulation, how do we accept regulation, it's amazing. A couple things I'd like to hit on too is labeling. As a farmer, it's my job to make sure that when I wake up and get my coffee in the morning and I go to work, that I provide you with the healthiest food that you can have. It doesn't matter if it's my cows or my cabbage, I want to make sure that I am providing you with a safe, nutritious food source. And so therefore, whenever we sit down at the table, me and you, there needs to be a trust there. And what we're starting to see in this whole industry is people are starting to label our food in different ways. You know, I don't know if anybody else has antibiotic-free, tissue wraps or gluten-free chili, or, I'm starting to look at some of these labels as I walk through a grocery store, and it behooves me to the fact that I'm a producer. I want to take care of my environment. I want to be able to walk outside my front door, drink my cup of coffee, and look at those beautiful cows. And not worry about somebody saying, well, did you shoot them with an antibiotic right before you sent them to the slaughter? Did you use growth hormones for this or that? So as ag producers, we're faced with the challenge of actually standing in front of people, and again, that's why I want to commend NIAA, is letting me stand in front of y'all and say, as an ag producer, we're worried. We need help to tell our story, and our story is true. What we get to do is the most wholesome thing in the world. To plant a seed, to raise an animal, to be able to take that to market and know that when you go to the grocery store, you're eating something that is healthy and nutritious is an amazing process. But what's happened is farmers and ranchers have spent their time with their head down, making sure that you had that right to eat good food. And we've lost our voice. And so now when you go to the regulation table, and when you sit down and talk about what's facing agriculture, it's up to you guys to help us. And so I just want to say that.